Let's learn some Torah. Today is not only Parshat Eikev, we're going to be reading Parshat Eikev this coming Shabbat, but also it is Tu B'Av. There is something really sweet in the air, and it might be that today, the 15th day of the month of Av, is considered by tradition to be a day for love. There are origin stories in the Mishnah and in the Talmud. In the Mishnah it says that there is a joyous day on Yom Kippur. We are forgiven. A joyous day on Tu B'Av, the 15th of Av. What happens on that day? Young women and men, maybe older women and men too, go and look for their life partners. And what's interesting about the description in the Mishnah is that they are dressed in the same way, which suggests to some scholars and some interpreters that the goal is that we should see beyond the surface of who we present ourselves to be. If everyone is dressed similarly, it is more about the quality of who we are as people that should bring us into each other's orbits. That could be the blossoming of love. But what I want to share is a story in the Talmud that even those who know about Tu B'Av might not know. In the Talmud, it's Masechet Ta'anit, on page 30 for those who are curious, there is the story about the 15th of Av that Rav Yehuda said in the name of Shmuel. It's one of the nice ways the Talmud does things. It always gives credit where the idea originates. That this is the day when people from one tribe, remember there are 12 tribes of Israel, where people from one tribe are allowed to marry people from another tribe. Well, that's nowhere in the text. So where does it come from? It's derived from the story of the daughters of Tzlofchad. You might remember there was a man named Tzlofchad who dies, and he has daughters, and he does not have a son. And the laws of inheritance until that time in the Torah said that only sons could inherit. Obviously, not the way we feel about gender, not the way we feel about inheritance, not the way we feel about justice, but the Torah is going to do something extraordinary within its own text, and then tradition will do something extraordinary with the text itself. The Torah tells a story of how the daughters felt this was wrong, probably the way that you and I do. The daughters go to Moshe and they say, it's not right. It's not right that our father's name should disappear from history because of laws of inheritance. Just because he didn't have a son, we are here, we should inherit. Give us an inheritance. And Moshe does something extraordinary as a leader. He says, that sounds right, but I don't know the answer. I'm going to ask God. And so Moses brings the question of the daughters of Tzlofchad to God, and God says, yes, Kain dabru bnot Tzlofchad. Correctly did they speak, the daughters of Tzlofchad. From now on, women will inherit too. God puts a proviso on that decision and says, but they must marry someone from their own tribe, which actually did not exist elsewhere in the Torah. And obviously, tribal continuity is a very interesting question for us to discuss in our world today. But in a world where even within a people, within the Jewish people, people really do stick to their tribes, be it a denomination of Judaism, be it Ashkenazi, Sephardi, be it any number of divisions between us, including political ones. Today is a day where we see beyond those boundaries. Why? Because later traditions say God's decision about the daughters of Tzlofchad that they had to marry someone within the tribe was only a decision for that generation. That's why the Torah made it an explicit statement. Why do the rabbis say this when they say it, which is thousands of years later? Perhaps because they recognize that in order for our people to survive, in order for our children to truly experience the world and love, these boundaries between the tribes must be seen, especially on a day about love, as artificial. Now that poses tremendous challenges to Jewish continuity, to all sorts of things. But if the rabbis are willing to be brave and to see a day of love as a time of transcending boundaries, perhaps this is a day for us to consider it too. Tu B'Av, the 15th day of Av, is a day that is seen as a response to Tisha B'Av. The 9th day of Av, that was just a week ago, is a very sad day. Today is meant to be the opposite, a day of joy, a day of love, a day of character, a day of justice, if you listen closely to the stories that have connected to this day. So friends, if you are looking for love, may you be blessed to find it. May it be blessed to find you. Let's begin by the love that starts within. What a gorgeous feeling it is to know that really love begins right here. God pulsing within and touching the outside version of that, our own hearts, is a chance to say, oh, that's where love lives. Okay, now I'm in the world. Today being a day that, like Diane said, all you really need is love. May you be blessed, friends, with it in every dimension that you seek. Let's have a good day. Let's sing our way into it. If I knew how to play All You Need Is Love, I would start that now, but you can find it once we're done.